Under the scorching sun of rural America, wild boars roam freely, bold, destructive, and out of control. They fear neither man nor noise, and no boundary seems to stop their advance. With crops under threat and farmland under siege, farmers are turning to rifles and traps instead of waiting in helplessness. This isn't just hunting, it's a fight for survival. In Texas, Mr. John wasn't a professional hunter. He was a farmer. But when wild hogs destroyed 40% of his corn crop in just 1 week, he had no choice but to become the armed guardian of his own field. Every night, he climbed up to his watchtower, holding a semi-automatic rifle, eyes fixed on the infrared camera feed. To him, every bullet was a chance to save a piece of his livelihood. Wild hogs reproduce at an incredibly fast rate, up to 2 litters per year, with each litter having 4 to 12 piglets. They're intelligent, highly mobile at night, and often attack in groups. They know how to avoid traps, stay away from lights, and move through rough terrain like seasoned warriors of the forest. That's why the most effective last resort is organized hunting. Hog hunting today is no longer about flashlights and old rifles. Professional hunting teams now use AR-15 rifles with thermal scopes, high-powered LED lights, remote-controlled drones, and smart trap systems operated through mobile apps. A full ambush might only take a few minutes, but it requires hours of tracking, route analysis, and perfectly still winds. In Texas, the sight of a helicopter flying low over open fields with a hunter shooting from above is nothing unusual. This method is incredibly effective for controlling large populations of wild hogs, especially in areas too vast for trapping or ground ambush. However, the cost of helicopter hunting can reach thousands of dollars per hour. For some, wild hog hunting is a thrilling sport, the adrenaline rush of stalking, aiming, and taking down the prey. But for farmers, it's a constant nightmare. So where is the line between sport and crop protection? In many U.S. estates, hog hunting is allowed year-round with no bag limits, encouraging the public to help control the population.
but small.
Wild boars don't just damage crops, they also attack livestock, pet dogs, and sometimes even people. There have been cases of serious injuries from boar charges while walking in the woods. In suburban areas, security cameras have captured footage of wild boars rummaging through trash bins, causing traffic accidents and intruding into residential neighborhoods. Many small towns in the U.S. have organized hunter task forces, volunteer hunters who operate at night. They take shifts, divide territories, use GPS trackers, and share real-time data. They don't do it for money. They do it out of a sense of duty to protect their community and the land they call home. But not everyone agrees with hunting. Some animal protection organizations argue that biological solutions should be explored instead of killing. They raise an important question. Are wild boars choosing to destroy or simply acting on instinct? Where is the line between population control and unchecked slaughter? Today, wild boar hunting is no longer a risky, solitary act. With motion sensors, mobile alerts, heat maps, and artificial intelligence, farmers can now detect and take action before an entire herd has the chance to destroy their fields. One autumn night, Mr. John climbed back up to the watchtower. On the screen, the shadowy figures of a herd of boars appeared, drawing closer. He gripped his rifle tightly, one shot, then another. That night, he saved 10 acres of land from being trampled. But by morning, he knew the battle was far from over. Nature isn't cruel, it's indifferent. Wild boars don't know they're causing destruction, they're simply trying to survive. And if humans want to continue living alongside nature, they must learn to combine technology, courage, and awareness. Hunting, when guided by ethics and science, isn't violence. It's a way to preserve balance. Like this video if you support the farmers working day and night to protect their land. In Australia, it's not just wild boars that cause serious damage. Feral goats have become one of the most dangerous invasive species in the country. Originally brought over by European settlers in the 18th century for milk and meat, they quickly multiplied once released into the wild and began destroying native ecosystems. Unlike wild boars, feral goats can climb and strip vegetation from both low and high levels. They devastate grasslands, contribute to soil erosion, and compete with native animals like kangaroos and wallabies for food. The Australian government spends millions of dollars each year to control feral goats through hunting, trapping, and even aerial shooting from helicopters. However, hunting feral goats also presents economic opportunities. In some regions, legal feral goat hunting tourism has been developed as a way to both control the population and generate income for local communities. Additionally, feral goat meat is highly valued for its lean, firm texture, making it a sought-after export product in the Middle East and Asia. Goat hides are also used in the fashion and handicraft industries. In the fight against invasive species like wild boars and feral goats, local people, especially farmers, hunters, and indigenous communities, are the frontline defenders. They are not only the ones directly affected by the economic damage, but also the ones with the practical experience and local knowledge needed to respond effectively to the problem. In Australia, indigenous communities play a key role in monitoring and controlling feral goats by combining traditional knowledge with modern technology. Regularly organized hunting campaigns aim not only to protect the land, but also to support the long-term restoration of the ecosystem. But the final question remains, can we truly wipe out invasive species like wild boars or feral goats? The answer is probably no, at least not in the near future. However, instead of trying to completely eradicate them, many experts believe we should aim for a sustainable balance. That balance lies in controlling population numbers through humane methods, leveraging economic value from legal hunting, and restoring ecosystems by reforesting, protecting water sources, and creating buffer zones for native wildlife. Because in the end, whether it's wild boars or feral goats, they are ultimately the result of human-driven environmental intrusion and change. The solution isn't just about elimination, but about how we choose to live more harmoniously and responsibly with nature. Nature is always in motion, and humans aren't always in control. Wild boars and feral goats don't recognize the boundaries of farmland, nor do they understand the value of a precious crop. But they exist, they multiply, and at times they become disasters. The farmer's battle isn't just with the land, the weather, or pests. It's also with forces that seem beyond anyone's control. Yet in that journey, we witness persistence, creativity, and an unconditional love for Mother Earth. From Texas to the remote corners of Australia, every footprint in the soil marks a struggle, not to conquer nature, but to coexist with it in a more responsible and sustainable way. You may have never faced a herd of wild boars in your life, but you'd understand the pain of losing an entire season's harvest if you've ever poured your heart into something, only to see it destroyed overnight. And that's exactly why we share stories like this. If you found this video helpful, hit like to support the farmers who continue their quiet battles in the fields day and night. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more honest, inspiring stories from nature, agriculture, and the wild. And share this video with anyone you think should know that life out there isn't easy, but it's always worth protecting. See you in the next video.